So Luke Skywalker is a stupid idiot. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It helps push this out into the world of the YouTube that is already shadow banning my channel into oblivion. And leave a comment as well. It helps with those exact same algorithms that YouTube is blocking. And make sure that your comment actually stays around, because YouTube has been deleting comments off of my pages and also has been unsubscribing people. Yeah, they've been doing that. So make sure you subscribe and then double check to make sure that it actually worked, because they're not letting you, because flagged channel. Speaking of who should be flagged and perhaps put on a watch list for, crimes against humanity, good old Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, posted this on his Twitter, and that's the Joker and Harley Quinn. For those of you that are not Batman nerds and didn't see Suicide Squad, great movie. Actually, not at all. I'm just winging this right now. But he's basically mocking the concept that people who are against abortions are in favor of adoption, and basically saying that they're all creepy criminals who I guess are crazy people. I don't understand what he's necessarily talking about. And then there's this whole movement now that the left is starting to do, where, because at first it was, people were talking about, if you were pro-life, the whole argument was, well, are you going to adopt these kids? And then there were, well-off pro-life families who actually started to put their money where their mouth is, almost quite literally, considering how expensive the adoption process can be, and started adopting rather than choosing to have more biological kids themselves. You'll see a lot of these families. I think Amy Coney Barrett, the most evil woman in the world, apparently on the Supreme Court, has adopted children in the past. It kind of called the bluff of the pro-choice abortion lobby. And then they couldn't just be satisfied with that. They couldn't be like, oh, well, then awesome. That's actually awesome. That's what you should be doing then. No, because then that would be kind of admitting that they were wrong. They just have to keep arguing, and they have to keep vilifying their political opposition rather than giving them the credit that they deserve. So then they started to do the whole, well, you're going to adopt all of them? That's white supremacy. It's like, you just said we should be adopting these kids, and now that they are adopting them, it's like, well, adoption is a arm of white supremacy and anti-blackness or whatever the hell, homophobia. And then they start to bring up the numbers about there's 400,000 kids in America that are orphans. You're gonna adopt all of them? It's like, well, no, but your option is to add 400,000 to the death count. So who's worse? Who's worse at the end of the day? The person that's like, I can adopt one or two of these kids, or the person that's just like, just fucking kill them. They're better off dead. Imagine saying that. Imagine saying that and thinking that you're somehow the compassionate one. All these orphans here that are alive and breathing and like play with each other and have friends and have feelings, they'd be better off if they were just dead before they even got to this point, because they make me sad and they're kind of gross, especially when they get older. Like, older orphans are like really mentally disturbed, and they can be like criminals and assaulters and murderers. So we should just euthanize them before they get the chance to do that, because my body, my choice. And yes, it's always white women doing it that sound like that, just with a little higher voice. I can only make the voice go so high. Man with testosterone. What is a man? What is a woman? But it's just astonishing to me that of all the people to vilify, it would be the people that are saying they want to adopt. And it's like the people that support adoption, and then if they don't have the means to adopt, that doesn't mean that they're jerks for suggesting it, or that they're bad people for suggesting it. For you to be like, oh, well, then why don't you adopt them? It's like, well, it's expensive, but I think the people that have the means to do it should be doing it. oh, so you're not you. Like, okay, how about we take some of that money that goes to Planned Parenthood through the government and give it to the adoption industry instead to clean up that industry that does have a lot of issues in it because it's so underfunded. Make it easier for good parents, same sex couples that are actually middle class and higher, to be able to adopt kids a lot easier. But no. We'd rather just kill them. That's really the option here. We'd rather fund Planned Parenthood just to kill them before they're born, instead of funding an adoption agency to make sure that they have a fruitful life as quickly as possible after an irresponsible couple decided to smash and come in each other. Well, I guess one person comes in the other, unless she can shoot the jizz while it's inside and it goes in the. That's gross. But it's why can't we all just get along with this? Isn't wanting to support the adoption industry, there's these kids are out there, they're alive right now. So why would we not fund it to make sure that they were okay? They are alive right now. I just don't want to look at them. Because you treat them like they're what? They're dirty homeless people? We have a homeless crisis. When was the last time you gave to a homeless person? Ew. When Planned Parenthood has $60 million or something to be able to donate to political campaigns but still getting government funded money, perhaps it's time to start maybe looking at them a little funny, as if they're in on some sort of political tax money laundering scheme. Because if you get government funding but then you are also simultaneously donating millions of dollars to politicians, that sounds like tax laundering. It just sounds like it. It sounds like it because you're apparently getting funding because you need the money, but you need the money to then give to the politicians. Sounds illegal. Sounds illegal. Sounds illegal. Perhaps illegal. Sounds illegal. But you don't want to turn around and give this money to these people that are already alive, that are in these environments where it's you've seen documentaries on it and all that stuff. Some of these situations aren't that great. Just because they're not that great doesn't mean that they all would be better off dead. You say that behind the comfort of your keyboard or into a microphone when you don't have to worry about looking at any of these people that are alive and that have value and should be treated like they have value. So, but it's if you ever came across them, what would you do? Would you be you would be better off dead? I don't think you would do that. Just like all these super pro-life people, if they ever came across someone that was sexually assaulted, they wouldn't be I don't give a shit, carry that baby. They'd probably have a much different response seeing the story unfold right in front of their face for their own eyes. So maybe, perhaps, it's time for everyone to sort of come together and stop being like Luke Skywalker. It's ironic that Mark Hamill thinks that adopted parents are creepy when the most famous role he ever played was an adopted kid who also was trying to fuck his own sister. Ironic. He was also in a certain black book on a list for someone who just got 20 years. He was also on that. Regardless of if abortion is legal or not, all those kids are still there when abortion was a thing that was 100% legal across the board everywhere. So now that restrictions are perhaps going to start coming up and being enforced a little bit more harshly, you should probably plan ahead on this one and anticipate that there's going to be people who are going to abandon their kids. And we shouldn't have to punish the kids by being your life has no value, you're dead. We should worry about making sure that they're okay and then tracking down those parents and doing something about them. Doing something about those people. Figuring out how to stop people like that from reproducing to begin with. That's just my thoughts on a stupid Hollywood celebrity yet again being stupid. And I know I said stupid a lot, but Mark Hamill is a fucking idiot. Star Wars was great, but not because of him. It was great in spite of him. Because he's a fucking idiot. He was a great Joker voice, though, in the cartoons. God damn it. Wanted to trash him the whole time, but I'm an honest guy. God, that Joker was a good character. But then he used it like... Chin, subscription, recommended video. Thanks for coming. Catch you next time. Peace out.